Warning: this video is demonstration and educational purpose only. Mishandling live main voltage may cause injuries to body or death. Inexperienced person or electrical student, do not try this work at home or anywhere. Always call professional electrician or certified electrician to do the electrical work. Hello everyone, welcome to Easy Electrical Fix. Now you are seeing is 13 amps G-type socket wiring. This wiring tutorial will show you how to do surface socket wiring step by step and use measurement instrument to test the socket for safety. It's easy and will understand about this wiring. If you are new to this channel, subscribe, like, share and watch till the end. Let's do it. Before start the wiring, let's prepare the tools. First is the wire cutter to cut the wire. Second, a hammer to hit the nails. Third, a plier to remove the nail in case. Fourth, a metal cutter to cut the lead strip. Fifth, a test pen to use connect the switch wire and lamp holder. And last, Phillips and flathead screwdriver. Now the tool is ready, let's prepare the wiring accessories and cables. The accessories for surface socket wiring is 2 nut box. The nut box size is 3x3 for single socket only. Next is 2 13 amps G-type single phase 3-pin socket. For this wiring can use 3x7 nut box size to mount 2 socket. But this wiring demonstration will guide you to do socket looping for 2 sockets separately. This will be advantage to learn to do wiring 2 sockets separately. Next, a roll of lead strip, some nails to hit the lead strip, and some drywall screw. For cables, going to use 2.5 mm green wire as earth wire. In 2.5 mm wire is written the wire specification on the PVC layer clearly. It's easy to identify the wire size and the voltage reading. Next is 2.5 mm black wire as neutral wire and 2.5 mm red wire as live wire. The 2.5 mm is perfect to use in socket wiring. In 2.5 mm wire have 7 core in total. Each core is 0.67 mm diameter. When all core is twisted together, it becomes a stranded single core, which is the cross section is 2.5 mm. This 2.5 mm wire can carry up to 25 amps as per reference method of the table 4E4A. Next is the testing and measurement equipment. For testing the socket, use socket tester for single phase supply only. This socket tester will show the correct live neutral earth connection sequence. Secondly, a digital multimeter. This multimeter used to measure the socket wiring to check the main voltage reading. Now the tools, accessories, testing and measurement equipment is ready. So let's start do the socket wiring. At the main distribution board, the recommended MCB current rating used for the socket wiring is 20 amps. This wiring going to connect with 2 sockets. It's perfect to use 20 amps MCB. To start, use the nut box and install on the wood surface. At the nut box, the gap is already open at the top. Now use the plier and open the gap at the side of the nut box. The side gap is for later use when do the socket looping wiring side by side. After that, use drywall screw to screw it the nut box on the surface. Make sure screw it tightly to the nut box to hold strongly. Prepare 2.5 mm live, neutral and earth wire for the socket wiring. Insert the 3 wires into the nut box gap from the top. Pull the wire as long as needed. Then tie the 3 wires together so it won't fall off from the nut box. Next, hold the wire in straight. Then use the lead strip and hold together with the wires. Use nail and hammer it on both sides of the lead strip to hold the wire strongly. Now repeat the same step again to hold the wires. Hold the wire in straight. Use lead strip and hold together with the wires. Then use nail and hammer it on both sides. Make sure the wire must be in straight line and don't hit the wires when hammer the lead strip. It may damage the wire and can cause faulty in wiring. To make a 90-degree turn for the wire, first, arrange the wire in straight line and in flat so it won't overlap. Hold the wire and bend the wire in 90 degree. Then use lead strip and hammer it to hold the wires. Hold the wire in 90-degree turn. Make sure don't overlap the wire and it will be hard for the wire to turn 90 degree. Then use lead strip to hold the wires together. Hammer the lead strip with nails on both sides. The 90-degree turn is done perfectly. From here, this wire will go into the distribution board. Arrange and pull the wire in straight, then hold the wires with lead strip and hammer the nail on both sides of the lead strip. Now repeat the same step to hold the wires with lead strip at another place. Make sure the wire must be in straight line. Once the wire reaches near to the main distribution board, Measure the required length for the wire. The wire at the main distribution board must be enough length to do the wiring connection later. Then use wire cutter and cut all the 3 wires together. Insert the wire into the main distribution board and arrange the wire nicely. Then use lead strip to hold the wire by hammer the lead strip with nails on both sides. At the main distribution board, arrange the earth wire to the earth terminal bar and arrange the neutral terminal at the neutral terminal bar. Next, insert the live wire to the 20 amps MCB. The surface socket wiring is done. Now it's time to do the wiring connection. So let's start with the socket wiring connection. At the nut box, untie the wires and pull the wire in straight line. Cut the wire in desired length. Strip out and expose the copper to all the wire. Then bend the copper wire for all the wire. This will give a good grip between the wire and the socket terminal. This is 13 amps G-type 3-pin socket. At the back of the socket got 3 terminals. The earth terminal at the top. Using Phillips head screwdriver, connect the earth wire to the earth terminal. The neutral terminal at the right side. Connect the neutral wire at the neutral terminal. The live terminal at the left side. So connect the live wire to the live terminal. All the live neutral earth wire is connected to the socket terminal correctly. Make sure all the connection must be tight to prevent loose connection. Then push the socket into the nut box, then screw it together with the nut box. Then put the socket cover to the socket. Now the socket wiring connection is done. Let's move to the main distribution board wiring connection. At the main distribution board, cut the neutral wire and the earth wire in enough length, then strip out and expose the copper at the neutral wire and earth wire. Connect the neutral wire to the neutral terminal bar and connect the earth wire to the earth terminal bar. The neutral and earth wiring connection is done. Next, at the live wire, cut the live wire in enough length, strip out and expose the copper wire, then bend the copper wire. Using Phillips head screwdriver, unscrew the MCB terminal, then insert the live wire into the MCB terminal. Next, screw in the MCB terminal tightly with the live wire. Now the live wire connection to the MCB is done. Finally, the surface socket wiring is done by do the wiring connection at the socket and at the main distribution board. Next is to test the socket wiring by turn on the electric supply, then use testing and measurement equipment to test the socket wiring. At the main distribution board, turn on the main switch, turn on the RCCB and turn on the 20 amps MCB. Now the electric supply is turned on for the socket wiring. At the socket, turn on the socket switch. To test the socket, going to use socket tester. Plug in the socket tester into the socket. Now you will see its 3 light indicator is light up. At the socket tester description, when all the light indicator is light up, meaning the live neutral earth wiring connection sequence is correct. If one of the indicator light isn't light up, then the live neutral earth wiring connection sequence is incorrect. There is a test push button and it stated ELCB trip test below 300 milliamps. What happens if press the test push button? Let's find out. Now the socket tester is plugged into the socket. Have a closer look at the RCCB and the socket tester push button. When press the test push button on the socket tester, the RCCB is tripped. Here's why. The 13 amp socket is connected to the live neutral earth wire. When press the test push button, the socket tester will create a fault in the socket wiring, cause the RCCB trip. This will make sure the socket wiring is safe to use and will trip if fault happen in the wiring. Also save a person life from the electric shock. After that, when turn back on the RCCB, the socket wiring is back to normal again. This is how to use socket tester to test the socket. Let's move on to check the voltage reading to the socket. Now this is plastic 2-pin safety key and plug into the socket. This will be easy when use multimeter probe to measure the voltage. Now use the multimeter. This is digital multimeter. Turn on the multimeter, it shows automatic in DC voltage range. Now change the range into AC voltage range. Because household wiring is in AC or alternating current electric supply. Take out the multimeter probe and insert the black probe into the socket neutral terminal and insert the red probe to the live terminal. Now the multimeter is taking the voltage reading from the socket. It shows 234 volts. The voltage reading is standard. And it's vary if you are living in country if the standard voltage is between 220 volts to 240 volts or 110 volts to 120 volts. So this is how to take voltage measurement at the socket wiring. Now the socket wiring installation, testing and taking measurement is done. Now let's make a change in the socket wiring. What if add another socket beside the existing socket? Yes, of course can. Let's do it. Turn off the electric supply for the socket wiring. Use test pen and remove the socket cover, then unscrew the nut box screw to take out the socket. As you see, the gap is already open for the both nut box to run the wire inside the nut box. Next, put another nut box beside to the existing nut box. Screw the second nut box next to the existing nut box. Make sure the both nut box must install side by side together uniformly. Prepare 2.5 mm live neutral earth wire for the socket. Insert the 3 wire into the nut box gap at the side and push the wire until reach at the second nut box. Now cut the wire in enough length at the first socket. Next, strip out and expose the copper wire at the second socket nut box. Then bend the copper wire for each wire. Next, connect the earth wire, neutral wire and live wire to the second socket terminal. Make sure the socket terminal connection must be connected tightly. Arrange the wire nicely inside the second nut box and push the second socket to the second nut box. Using the nut box screw, screw the socket to the nut box on both sides. Then put in the socket cover to the second nut box. Disconnect the live neutral earth wire at the first socket. Cut the second wire in short and strip out and expose the copper wire. Arrange the first socket wire and the second socket according to the wire color. Live to live, earth to earth and neutral to neutral. Use plier and twist the both copper wire together to loop in the first and second socket wire together. Do the same step to the other wire. After done the loop in, cut the top of the copper wire to make easier for wire fully connected to the socket terminal inside. Now connect the live loop in wire to the socket live terminal. Repeat the same step to connect the neutral and earth loop in wire to the socket terminal. Then arrange the wire inside the first nut box and screw the socket to the nut box at the both sides. At last, put in the socket cover. Finally, the socket loop-in connection to add another second socket is done. Let's turn on the electric supply and test the two sockets. At the main distribution board, turn on the main switch, turn on the RCCB and turn on the 20 amps MCB. After turn on the electric supply, use socket tester and test the live neutral earth connection sequence on both sockets. The first socket connection is correct. Then the second socket connection also correct. Both of the socket live neutral earth connection sequence is correct. Next, use multimeter, check the voltage at the first socket. The voltage measurement is good at the first socket. Then check the voltage at the second socket. Also the voltage measurement is good and standard. Now here we are. The surface socket wiring with testing and measuring the socket wiring is complete. Now you understand how to do surface socket wiring, do the socket wiring connection at socket terminal, use testing and measurement equipment to test and measure the socket voltage and the wiring. Finally, the surface socket wiring is working without a problem. Make sure take safety precaution when do any kind of wiring and always keep a person 2 or more when deal with electrical testing while the electric supply is on. This is the end of the video. If you are new to this channel and this video is helpful for you, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment down below what's the next electrical content video you want me to do. Thanks for watching and see you again.